Hi my friends, and welcome back to the channel. Who is Legacy Stacker? I recently did a full stack video and one of my viewers had the misconception that I was just born wealthy or something like that. I'll put a link to that video right up here. I can assure you the notion that I came from money couldn't be further from the truth. So today we're going to cover the history of me, my history, and how I reached the financial position I am in today. At the same time, we'll be reviewing the American Silver Eagle Proof from 1999. But first, to the computer. Now here we are at the SD Bullion website. Today is Monday, October 17th, 2022. The silver spot price is $18.49. The gold spot price is $1,651, which gives us a gold to silver ratio of 89-1. I know with a GSR of nearly 90, I should be buying silver, but with the current premiums on silver, I'm buying gold. Hi, my precious metals fans. I am very excited to announce that SD Bullion has approved my channel into its Bullion affiliate program. So if you would like to purchase your precious metals from SD Bullion, please use my affiliate links below in the description. It won't cost you any more, and it will really help my channel out. SD Bullion is not sponsoring this video, but they are one of the most trusted bullion sites when purchasing precious metals. Here's the disclaimer. The coin we'll be reviewing today is this 1999 American Silver Eagle Proof 70 coin. I bought this coin as a graded coin online, and if we look at the reverse, we can see the P Mint mark there, signifying the Philadelphia Mint. I like that these American Silver Eagle Proof coins have the P Mint mark on them, since most coins from the Philadelphia Mint don't have any mint mark at all. This coin is graded Proof 70 by the PCGS Grading Company, has a mintage of 549,796 coins, and based on that mintage and grade is currently worth approximately $310. My history wouldn't be complete without discussing where I came from, starting with my grandparents, who were first-generation Americans after legally coming to the United States from Europe. My grandfather on my mother's side was a coal miner, where they lived in northeastern Pennsylvania. I never met my grandfather, as he passed away before I was born. Unfortunately, the coal miners passed away at relatively early ages back in those days. This was before they were aware of black lung, which is a condition of many of the miners got from breathing in the fine coal dust into their lungs while they were working. My grandfather was involved in a mining cave-in accident a few years before he passed away. He was in a full body cast for about a year after that. I have fond memories of my grandmother on my mother's side of the family. She was a homemaker, as many women were in those days. She could cook wonderfully, never used a written recipe like I have to, and could make a meal out of whatever was available in the house. In those days, they would collect eggs and even have to slaughter a chicken every now and then for dinner at times. She would wash clothes by hand, as they didn't have any clothes washing machines at that time, and she would hang the laundry on the clothesline to dry, as there were no clothes dryers either. Although there were some local shops, there weren't any supermarkets either like we have today. She would also make dresses for her daughters out of material and sewed them together with thread. She was also a nurse at the local nursing home later in life. Unfortunately, she passed away when I was just in grade school. I never met my grandfather on my father's side of the family either, as he also passed before I was born. He was a coal miner during the early part of the day, the same as my other grandfather. As coal miners, they would begin work as soon as the sun came up. Once they filled an entire coal train car full of coal, they were finished for the day. They would burn up a lot of calories shoveling coal into a train car all day long. Some of my uncles, who were also miners, used to say they would eat 10 sandwiches every day for lunch. Now maybe that's a tall tale, but they certainly did burn a lot of calories per day in the coal mining work. My grandfather was also a police officer. In the evenings, he would walk the local beat. In those days, it was mostly dealing with drunks coming out of the local bars. I remember my grandmother on my father's side of the family as well. She lived to be 95 years old. She was a homemaker and told some of the funniest stories. I would love when she would tell stories about her younger years and some of her travels. She lived with my aunt for as long as I could remember, and they took care of each other as they grew older. All in all, my grandparents were, by most standards, poor. They never owned a home, they rented a house their entire life, and they lived off the land as much as they could. I don't think they really noticed though. As long as they had food on the table and clothes on their backs, I believe they were happy. Hi, my friends. As you can tell, I've made a decision to keep my identity anonymous on this channel for security reasons. Please feel free to participate in my million subscriber challenge by clicking on the subscribe button below. Do you really want to know who I am? If so, please click on the subscribe button, and when I reach 1 million subscribers, I will move from behind the camera to in front of the camera. That's my challenge to you. It won't cost you anything, and most of all, thank you. At this point, while we're viewing the 1999 American Silver Eagle proof coin, we ask ourselves, what was happening in 1999 when this coin was minted at the Philadelphia Mint? The Do-It-Yourself, or DIY network, was launched. A snowstorm left over 14 inches of snow in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and over 21 inches of snow in Chicago, Illinois. The brand new Mandalay Bay Hotel and Casino was opened in Las Vegas, and the Roth IRA was introduced. Microsoft releases Windows 98, and the Space Shuttle Discovery completes the first docking with the International Space Station. The Dow Jones Industrial Average rose to over 10,400 points in 1999 as compared to the over 30,000 points today in 2022. The average price of a new car was just $20,686 compared to the average price of a new car today of $48,000. The price of a gallon of gasoline was just $1.17 compared to the well over $3 per gallon this year. Inflation in 1999 was just over 2%, which is not nearly as high as our current 8.2% inflation rate we're seeing this year in 2022. The average cost of a home was just over $172,000 as compared to over $428,000 this year. And the average monthly rent was $819 per month in 1999 as compared to the nearly $1,300 per month rent today in 2022. There were a number of movies that came out in 1999, such as The Haunting, starring Liam Neeson and Catherine Zeta-Jones, Varsity Blues, starring James Vanderbeek and Jon Voight, and The Green Mile, starring Tom Hanks and Michael Clark Duncan. You may have seen some of them. Hit songs such as Steal My Sunshine by Mark Costanzo, I Want It That Way by the Backstreet Boys, and who could forget Everybody's Free, also known as The Sunscreen Sign by Baz Luhrmann, were all popular that year. You might remember some of these things back in 1999. Now, back to my history. My parents escaped the coal mines by moving to the New Jersey suburbs. My father worked in Philadelphia most of his life as a manager. My father also served in the military, so he was able to buy a house in the suburbs on the GI Bill, which required a very low down payment, 3% maybe? My mother was originally a homemaker like her mother, up until my youngest sister was around 10 years old. Then my mother went to work in an office as an administrative assistant, where she worked for over 20 years and retired from the company. This was a bit controversial back in those days, as women were just starting to move from the home to the workplace. I remember my father originally feeling bad that my mother had to go to work in order to make ends meet for the family, as I was one of 5 children. But soon, women in the workforce became commonplace. Neither of my parents studied at a university, but my mother really wanted to go. It just wasn't possible for her, as she had a family to take care of. Clearly, my parents were pioneers of a sort for moving out of the relatively poverty-stricken area of their parents and provided a middle-class living for me and my brothers and sisters. Money was always very tight in my family when I was growing up. I remember my father always bought used cars, and he was in his 40s before he was actually able to buy his first new car. Hi, my friends. If you enjoyed the content of my channel and you're interested in collecting and stacking silver coins, you may want to check out my playlists on my Legacy Stacker channel. You can go to my Legacy Stacker homepage by clicking on the Legacy Stacker gold coin right here. Then at the homepage, you can click on the Playlists tab right here. If you are interested in viewing my Morgan Silver Dollar collection from the beginning in 1878, you can choose my Morgan Silver Dollar collection right here, listed as my #1 playlist. Or if you would like to check out my American Silver Eagle Proof collection beginning in 1986, you can do that here. It's playlist #2. Or of course, my Constitutional playlist is #3. There are also playlists for the Coin of the Month, and #5 is my Precious Metals Safety. Also, did you know you can subscribe to my channel just by clicking on this Legacy Stacker gold coin right here at the bottom right hand of the screen? How easy is that? Now for me, I started working when I was 13. I had a part-time job working after school so that I wouldn't be a burden on my family. I would buy bike parts to rebuild the hand-me-down bikes I got from my older brothers, once they were done with them, to get to work after school. I also built a drum set piece by piece, as well as purchased basic necessities like clothes and shoes for school. I felt that, at least in this way, my family didn't have to buy any of these items for me. After high school, I went to a university to get my 4-year undergraduate degree. But about halfway through my degree, I felt overwhelmed by the student loan debt I was racking up. So I left full-time school and went to work full-time instead. I paid back my student loans and went back to school part-time to complete my 4-year degree. It took me a little longer to finish my 4-year degree, my bachelor's degree, going part-time, but I felt better about paying off my student loans and being independent. After my 4-year degree, I continued on to earn my master's degree, my MBA, from a major university, continuing my education part-time as I continued to work full-time. I was going part-time nights and weekends to school and paying my way through it as I went along. So I was in my 30s by the time I completed my degrees and was able to get a good paying position with a large company. During it all, I got married, bought a home, had a son, and even began investing in rental real estate. It was a time in my life where I was incredibly busy between my full-time job, part-time university studies, fixing up my home, yes, it was a fixer-upper, and my side hustle of investing in rental real estate. All the while, I always found time to spend with my greatest accomplishment, my son. All in all, as you can see, I didn't come from a wealthy background. But each generation that came before me consistently worked hard to make my life better for the next generation. All in all, as you can see, I didn't come from a wealthy background, but each generation that came before me consistently worked hard to make life better for the next generation. I will never forget how their sacrifices eventually contributed to making my life better. And I hope to do the same for my son, the next generation, to leave a legacy. After all, that's the real reason I created this channel. I'll leave a link right up here on my 5 reasons why I created this channel, my very first video, so you can check it out. This week's YouTube channel shout out of the week goes to Silver Surfer. I'll leave a link to his channel down in the description below. Silver Surfer talks about coin collecting, graded coin reviews, and even has a number of videos on fancy serial number bills. Again, I'll include a link to Silver Surfer's YouTube channel down in the description. A special thank you to my loyal patrons, without whom this channel would not be possible. Thank you, my friends. I truly appreciate your support. And always remember, my friends, silver and gold, it's wealth you can hold in your hands.